So turn off your television sets. Turn them off now. Turn them off right now. Turn them off and leave them off. Turn them off right in the middle of the sentence I'm speaking to you now. Turn them off.
Greetings. Welcome back. It's been a it feels like it's been a long time. I don't think it's been that long, but it feels like it's been a long time. We shouldn't have left you. But anyway, we
See,
are
I knew you were gonna get it. I knew
we
it.
we we are back. And typically when we start a new show, we do like this thing to talk about whether we're in or out. That's what this episode is going to be. In particular, we're talking about FX's new show Under the Banner of Heaven. But before we get into that, D, how's it going?
I'm good. I'm actually having a wonderful day. Blessed.
Yes,
Sun is shining. It's a great day. How about
it is
you?
a great day. I am doing swell. Like no
Swell.
complaints. Yeah, no
Swell.
complaints.
Take swell.
But yeah, let's catch up a bit. Like outside of like this show, like what have you been watching since we stopped watching Severance?
I did check out. Okay, keep in mind, I have two littles, and my littles are to the point where they're cussing now. Like they don't curse in regular conversation, they just repeat stuff, but they're smart enough to know they shouldn't be saying it. So they kind of say it to see if I'm gonna react. So I can't watch everything anymore around them.
Hmm.
Point is, Tokyo Vice. I started it, and just when it was getting to the point where he was talking to, I'm assuming that was the Yakuza he was talking to at the meet
Hmm.
initially,
Yeah.
my children came in and I had to turn it off. So I haven't been able to
Mm.
get back to it. But that is what I'm going to try next. Tokyo Vice. On top of, Under the Banner of Heaven. What
Yeah,
about
so
you?
there's actually a lot that's on right now. So Barry just started back last week. Better Call Saul has returned for its final season, and it has been amazing so far. I think we're 4 episodes in now, if I'm not mistaken, and every episode has just been like knocking it out the park. And also, of course, Tokyo Vice. I
Uh,
haven't made my way to We Own the City yet, but I will check that out as well.
that's the other one I did start. It's tough because it's just like, gosh, police officers really are on that bullshit. What about Ozark? Don't you watch Ozark?
I didn't watch the because they split the final season in half, so I have to go back and catch up on that too. But yeah, Ozark is like the best mid out there, so I will have to go back and check it out for this final season.
Netflix still selling that mid if you interested.
If you interested, we have it. But yeah, we are here to talk about Under the Banner of Heaven. I immediately saw things that interest me. First, Andrew Garfield and the Detective Show. But yeah, this particular show is based on a a nonfiction true crime. Basically, I, do we want to call it a memoir? Sure, we'll call it one. But created by John. I'm gonna butcher his last name. My apologies. Krakauer, yeah, John Krakauer. That's what we're gonna call him. But it was
I think that's
adapted for
right.
TV.
Mm,
It was adapted. Yeah, it's probably not
I
right.
just don't
It was
think it's right.
adapted. You never believe in me anyway, but it was adapted by TV by Dustin Lance Black. It has Wyatt Russell, who is the strong chinned Captain America and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It has Sam Worthington, and it also has the other Culkin brother as well. So yeah, so Dave, we watched the first episode. Let's talk a bit about like what you like about it. So I'll kick it off to you.
Real quick, this Calkin brother's the one from Scream, right? Scream 4, I think it was.
I've never seen Scream 4, so I can tell you.
Well,
I
I'm
don't think I
I'm like a
have.
Scream. I'm one of the cult Scream people. So yeah, he's if I'm
I'm
not
sorry. I'm
mistaken,
sorry to hear
he's.
that.
I love it. I love every last one of them, even the fifth one. I saw it at the theater. But anyway, back to what we're doing. Daisy is the actress. She was just recently in a show, a movie I watched on Hulu called Fresh. It is the most strange movie I've ever seen in my life. Um, It's a dark comedy, so if y'all want to check it out, do that. It has another of our characters from um COINTELPRO and the Winter Soldier. What's his name?
Which
Bucky.
one?
What's his real name?
Oh,
Sebastian Stan.
Sebastian.
Yeah, he's in that with her. But anyway, Daisy is the main character in the show. And the thing that has, I think, I've been trying to figure out why I love it so much because just to be honest, it's slow. It's like
Mhm.
not a lot of action. It has flashbacks and which I hate. I despise flashbacks, by the way.
Mhm.
But there was something about it that I was just like enthralled. And really, once I sat and really figured it out, it's her pure badassery because this is a show that shows a woman who is a victim of a very violent crime. And we know that from the beginning. But to see that she's not a victim at the same time is kind of beautiful in itself because there are a lot of, especially in the religion she's in, you expect her to be very subservient, very meek, very mild, very quiet, and she's none of those things. She's still respectful, but she's very much a woman who speaks her mind. And then that her dad, and I'm gonna put air quotes, allows that was also refreshing to see. So I think I love it so much because it's not just your same old um story where a woman is just at home and she's quiet and she's sad and then this thing happens to her. There's so much more to it because she's not just, I guess, weakened like a lot of writers have them. Like they a lot of times men write women really bad. Well, I don't say men, people write women really poorly in general, and she's not written that way. So I think that's what's drawing me to it. Plus, I could see why people would be upset about it, especially people who are a part of that religion, because they're making it out to be very, very terrible. Just being honest, it's bad.
So um that's the thing that I was caught off guard with the most. Like I thought they basically I didn't know the setting would like be the catalyst as well because it takes place in Utah, right outside of Salt Lake City, like a smaller town, um, which is right in the middle of Mormon country. But at the same time, I knew that we would be dealing with this religion in particular, but I didn't know it would be like a deep dive into that religion and its history. Um, that part is interesting because I know like I know like as to a certain degree about this religion. They also keep very pristine records. Like if you know what my job is like and you want to do some genealogy work, just go to one of their temples and they have pristine records. But anyway, so I wasn't expecting such a deep dive into the history of that. And also I it it kind of caught me off guard. It took me a while to realize what they were doing, but they were basically aligning the history with this religion to what can create basically another prophet within that religion because that religion was formed in a very specific way, which I'm not here to judge, but some may call odd. So, therefore, if you are a believer in this religion, it's very easy if you believe in this to say, like, okay, I am now the next, prophet within this sect of religion.
I think that's very important for people when it comes, especially to us. I promise you, I'm not here to judge or shit on your religion, whichever one it is, because I think it's personal, right? So whatever you believe is what you. So I'm not here to tell you that this religion is bad. I will say though, based off what we have seen in this show, I will talk about that. And the family that we've seen in that show is doing too much. There's a certain things doing too
To
much,
say the least, yes.
and they are. And it is, and it's because again, there's the way they treat their women, the the way they discipline the children, I guess. Well, they're still his children, and the patriarch of the family is very, he's very loving. He's also very stern, which is what people expect from a father. But there's a part where he disciplines his child um with the pet, and that was just a lot.
Mhm.
Like I don't want to spoil it for y'all, but there's just an incident where he was trying to prove a point, and in doing so, he committed abuse towards an animal, and it was just a lot, and it's like Ronnie was saying, the parallel between the original story, their original prophet, what's his name? Is it John Smith, or am I
Yeah, Joseph
tripping?
Smith. Yeah,
John. Okay,
Joseph
him.
Joseph Smith. Yeah.
Joseph Smith. Okay, I knew it was one of my people. Joseph Smith, and his love, and how they came to be, and how this whole religion was established. The way they are parallel, so it's just beautiful, because it's just done well to me, because the way they do the flashes, it's showing that this is the thing that happened currently in our time, and this is directly how it correlates to the teachings of what they've been taught.
Hmm.
And the son that is the victim's husband, he turned away from the faith altogether. Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So I think it's kind of setting it up to feel like he feels as if he's being punished, or it was a direct retaliation because of that decision
Mhm.
he made. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
because
just
there's a part where he's, and once again, this isn't much of a spoiler, but there's a part where he says, like, basically, like, she was so pure that, I wasn't gonna try to, like, bring her out. She was doing her own thing. So yeah, like, given what happened to her, I feel like he does feel like some, like, this may be a source of punishment for turning his back on the church, because yeah, that too, like, to really defect in that way, and then um to basically lose your entire family. Yeah, that must be very traumatizing.
I'm I'm sorry if y'all hear if y'all hear they're fine, I promise. But I think the other
They
thing
up
is,
there watching Tokyo Vice without
yeah,
you.
that's what they're doing, or WWE one, I don't know. But the craziest part, I'm glad you mentioned him saying how pure she was. It was almost as if it was a curse that she was so pure, rather than it being a
Hmm.
blessing that you have this person who is so in tune with what you say you
Uh-huh.
you represent, or what you say is the gospel that you subscribe to. It was almost like, how dare she not have a flaw? She's a woman, of course she has to have a flaw. Only men can be this, right, or this whatever. And it was almost like they resented the fact that what she said was true. Like, what advice she gave, what she said aligned exactly with what they wanted, but they didn't like it because it was coming from her.
Yeah.
So they didn't feel, it was almost like they didn't feel like they were doing enough, or they felt challenged because there was someone who made almost more sense than they did, kind of in a
Exactly.
way.
And this isn't, like, exclusive to, like, this particular faith. Like, you could look at any particular faith. Basically, um, there's there's almost this thing where really devout people say, like, there's always something to work towards. You can be better in this aspect, but they meet this person, and this person is, like, genuinely, like, a good, pure-hearted person who wants to do better. And because of that, she's drawing a lot of attention, both good and bad. And yeah, it does make the community, like, because they're like, damn, we have nothing to put on this person, and to say, like, okay, you have to work towards this because, yeah, you're such a good person. And basically, it kind of, like, is intimidating, because yeah, you don't get to hold that thing over this person's head anymore. And I guess for this person in particular, it's freeing, but to the people around this person, they're like, damn, I can't even tell you to work on this, to be better in this, because you already got it.
And they can't take credit for it either. So it's not like
Exactly.
they can say we've reared this person to be the
Mhm.
example of whatever else, because I don't think her dad, like, her family wasn't Mormon, right?
It doesn't seem that way.
Doesn't seem like her dad is more. It seems, well, they kept calling him the bishop, so they're religious for sure. But no, they can't be Mormon, because her dad is nothing like their dad, like her future father-in-law. They're like nothing alike,
But then
and
again, they weren't from Utah,
they weren't
because
from
she said
Utah. Okay.
she has to, she did say she wanted to move from Idaho to Utah to really. It's funny that she
Really?
likes. Let me quick detour. It's funny that she said I wanted to move to Utah to chase stardom. But anyway, so she wanted to move Utah to follow the gospel closer. So I think once you get the further away from like Utah, since that's their mecca, like I guess people may practice in different ways. I don't
Mm.
know. But yeah, kind of how I guess like people practice religion, differently than they would in the South. Well, that of the like Baptist faith or whatever. Right. So I'm thinking is that she wanted to be closer to like the actual like
That
mecca
makes
of this
sense
faith.
too, because he mentioned his brothers were kind of swaying in a different direction too. Like they were
Mhm,
still very much LDS, but kind of moving in a different way of understanding it. It's almost like, as far as Christianity goes, there is a Bible Belt Christianity, right? Baptist church,
mhm,
Episcopalian church, Pentecostal, all of that. And then there are your more liberal, I know people not gonna like it, but liberal Christians who embrace different things that are like wholly admonished in the Bible, right? But
mhm,
these things are accepted differently now because they see things differently. The world is different than it
mhm.
was when that thing happened. So I feel like that's kind of what you're saying. Like her family may have been Mormon, but just not devout, very strict letter of the law.
Yeah, exactly. So you have those who say, like, almost like how people talk about the Constitution is funny. Like, this is how it was written. That's how it should be. But there are those who say, like, okay, we also have to adapt to the future because they'd like the foresight to see how the world would be like thousands, hundreds, and thousands of years from now. So yeah, I think people have like even within that faith, people may have like their different ways of like practicing. So.
And it's the first episode is very telling, because again you get to see exactly just how the father reacts to her almost immediately,
Hmm.
because the first thing they were doing, they said how like everybody commented on how beautiful she was, and it was almost like accusatory, like well, she's so pretty, why, like almost like, why is she so pretty, how is she so
Right.
pretty, what has she done to be so pretty? I'm like, man, it's just how she looks. I don't I don't really know what y'all wanted to
Yeah.
do. And but all of them did it. Like all of the brothers, I think every last one commented on how she
They
looked.
they were getting really fresh with her.
It was really odd, and it's just like that's not very well, I say Christ-like, but not Christian. But you know what I mean? It felt creepy, it felt predatory, but she took it like a champ. She was just kind of like,
Mhm.
they're just being friendly. And I'm it's odd to me too, because you would think it's almost like a naivety. Is that the way I say it? Did I say it right?
Yeah.
I'm fancy like that. But it's very clear that she's not naive at all, right?
Mhm.
Like, um, there's a scene with her professor that I thought was going to go very differently than it did, where he locked her in his room because she asked for an opportunity. And instead of it going the way I thought, which was, already my heart sank because I'm like, oh no, we all know how this is going to go. She flipped it and was like, did you lock everybody in the room together? Like, do you lock the boys in here too? It'd be nice. Maybe I should tell people you locked me in here, or you can give me what I want. And it was just
Mhm.
like, whoa, like the prey has become the predator, which is magnificent because she still hadn't done anything wrong. It was just like, hey, this is almost exactly what I wanted you to do. And now that
Mhm.
I've got what I wanted, we can move on. You don't have to get in
Right.
trouble. I get what I want and we can have it. And I think she knows to play on that. I think
Mhm.
I just think that's what it is that's drawing me to her. She very much understands that people will take for granted that she's this nice, meek LDS girl who's just quiet and will accept everything. And she pulls them right in, and then she lets them know at the right time. Nope, not one. As we
Mhm.
always say, wrong bitch, because she is not the one. And it's just beautiful. I mean, it really is. It's cool to see a woman empowered, even though we know what happens. Like, there's no question whatsoever what happens to her. It's the first scene of the
Yeah.
show. We know that it's a very gruesome, she has a very gruesome demise, her and her daughter. So it's still nice to see how she lived. And the show is doing way more than just making her a victim of this violent crime. I think that's a
Yeah,
beautiful.
because because I'm glad you brought that up because that's something I did want to pivot to. So often and by the way, I really love like murder, like fictional murder mysteries. I'm not like one of those crazy citizen detectives. Sorry, you're a citizen detective, but y'all take it too far sometimes. But I like detective shows, but at the same time, um, a huge I guess misstep of most of these detective shows is that we get we basically get a faceless victim. Like we
Mhm.
don't get enough of their life. We don't get enough of basically why their life mattered. That's actually why I like the killing back in the day, because you actually get to see like the impact that this girl had on her community. But anyway, and this is something that this show is doing well. Like I said, initially the flashbacks were throwing me off, but at the same time, like the by the time the first episode ended, I was like, okay, it's showing you why this person is so special, and it's showing you why someone would wants to take that away from her. So yeah, they are doing a great job of that. Also, I want to now pivot to like Andrew Garfield's character. Like, how do you feel about his character so far?
Uh, I knew Andrew was a good actor. I knew, right? And it shouldn't have been a surprise. I say that to say that, but I was still very much taken by how you almost feel like he's legit affected by this thing. Like
Hmm.
Andrew becomes this person who is taken taken aback by this gruesome crime from these people that he knows. And it's just like honest, I mean, I just saw him do the same thing. I saw Spider-Man, so I saw how he reacted, and I know that he can show emotion very well, but he is doing a really good job. Like
Yeah, yeah,
excellent job.
yeah. I mean, by all like accounts, he seems like a good guy, which actually makes him the um the perfect actor for this character, Detective Jeb Hire, because this is a man who is very like devout in his faith, but at the same time, he's faced with something that's about to challenge like everything he believes. And Andrew Garfield is like I can't think of like a better actor for this particular role. So yeah, he's doing a great job so far.
And I think I'm glad you said the whole challenge to his faith thing, because the best part is that he knows he's being challenged.
Hmm.
And is Jacob the husband? Is it Jacob?
Yeah, Jacob is
It's
the
so many
hus-
brothers, y'all. I'm sorry.
yeah, it's
It's
so
a
many
ton of
Lafferty brothers. No, Alan
Calvin
Lafferty
Murphy.
is the husband. I think
Okay.
yeah, I think it's Alan. Yeah.
Alan's also doing a good job. And I think the best thing that I've seen is you see someone who's completely turned away from the faith, which is Alan. Um, but there are so many times you can see that even though he doesn't practice it religiously now, it is ingrained
Hmm.
in him. Like it is a part of him. So even if he turns his back on it, there are going to be times where he goes back to it, at least to the parts that gave him comfort, or at least to the parts that were routine, right? So they asked him, how did you why is there blood on your hands and knees? And my first thought was, well, duh, like how else would
Yeah.
he have hands? But I think Andrew I think the detective just wanted him to say it. He said, well,
Mhm.
I've been down to pray for him. And he's almost like, well, why? This isn't who you are anymore. Why? And it's just like I did it because I felt like I needed to, right? Like
Mhm.
it was because I knew that's what I should do. And it just goes to show that like a lot of people say religions are cults, and I disagree with that on some level, just because I always think violence and you can't get out when it comes to cults. I guess in the very definition of it, then that is true. But there is a goodness inside of it. And I think as gruesome as it was and as sad as it was, he still did the thing that he was taught to do to give him comfort.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And that part of that is still like, okay, well, he when he didn't know what to do, he knew to do that,
Right.
right? Which is prayer for his wife's soul, to pray for his baby girl's soul, because when all else fails, he wants them to be wherever they're going, under the banner of heaven. There you go.
Yeah.
So it's just very nice to see the both, I guess, the almost Mr. Glass and Unbreakable in this whole situation where you got one
Mhm.
devout person and you got one who was devout, and it's kind of like, if you answer this way, then you're not who you think you are.
Exactly. Yeah,
You
that
know,
was a good
like,
scene. He was like, so are you like he kind of like, are you really LDS based on that answer? Like, yeah,
yeah, like, are you sure,
yeah.
brother? I think that was the best part. Every time they called themselves brother, you know me.
Mhm.
I'm like, all right,
We're
Kendrick.
brothers.
But even that, when they actually found his other brother, one of them, I'm sorry, it is a lot
So
of
many
him.
Laffertys. Because I was like,
So
did we
many.
even know? Like the one who ran away, I was like, do we even know him?
So that's the same thing I said when he said his name. I was like, oh, it's him. It's just so many. It's like six of them, isn't it? It's
It's too
five or
damn many.
six.
Is how
It's
many
at
there is. Too
least
damn many.
it's it's at least five. It might be six. But yeah, so like, and it I think the craziest part is the Lafferty they have. I think that's no. Wyatt Russell's character is the one that's the chiropractor, and he, from what I gathered, is not your straight laced typical LDS son. He might be like the prodigal son, if you will. So his wife is very, very like reserved, shy, anxious. I thought she was maybe on the spectrum. And I'm not trying to say that to be funny, but she was just so nervous that I thought something may have been
She's the one who basically was divorced previously, right?
with the lemonade. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And
with
she
the
just
lemonade.
kept
Yeah, she was
bringing up, yeah, she's just very
very antsy.
nervous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's anxious, and she's like almost trying to just make sure that people saw that she was useful. And that's what I got from it. Is like she's still, even however long they've been there, she's still trying to make them think that she deserves to be there. Like she's earning her keep. She's making herself useful so that she's worthy to be there. And then the most disheartening part was when she told a story about how she thought God spoke to her because she married him. But she's like, because why else would I be with a man who was a drunk and something else who fancied my sister? And I'm just like, see, like this is awful. This is terrible. But these are the types of women they want. These are the ones that they
Mhm.
can mold and form and make them feel however, or make them feel like anything is their fault if something goes wrong. Um Now I'm assuming he's the youngest son. There is some
Yeah.
sort of delay with him, right?
The one that's in custody, Alan.
No. The I think he's the very youngest. He's the one that was kind of. I don't think he
Oh
said much.
yeah, yeah. Okay, and yeah.
Yeah, I think he really does because he is. It was obvious he was very that he was upset that his parents were leaving. It
Mhm.
also seemed like his parents. This is not me being ageist. I also had a geriatric pregnancy, but it seems like his parents are very old to be his parents. Like they seem old enough to be his grandparents.
Yeah, because I initially thought like, okay, this is like a grandson.
Exactly. Like I thought he was one of the, yeah, that's exactly who I thought he was. But I think he's just the baby. So
Yeah.
he is just there. And I don't know if they were trying to show us something with that animal that he had. Like if they're giving us a clue that maybe he's got some kind of um psychological issues, or if it just happened to be a thing that he was coping because his parents were leaving him for 2 years.
No, no big deal at all.
No, oh, by the way, going away for 2 years. You're the most qualified to do this, but I'm mad at you, so you do it. And I'm like, what is happening? You are not making good decisions at all. And it's setting it up so that you know that there's already just that there's
Right.
just not the family is feuding in the way that they do. I mean, of course it's not gonna be obvious. But I wanted to ask you, were they trying to kind of give us a inkling that they kind of fancied each other, or is she just really nice like that? Rob, which is Sam's
Yeah.
character, and her name's Daisy. Her real name's Daisy. What's her name on the
See,
show?
I'm glad you asked
Brenda. Brenda, right? Brenda.
because yeah, Ron Lafferty. By the way, I would like for him to change his name. But yeah, Ron Lafferty, who is played by Sam Worthington, like his wife pretty much admitted that yeah, he's a bit of a,
He's cute,
um
ain't he?
s-
He's fine, ain't
yeah,
he?
yeah, so yeah,
That's kind of what you did. He's fine, ain't he?
yeah, so yeah, they implemented that there because like there's that scene where like she like just looks at him and she like just stops in her like tracks for a moment and she's like just looking at him, and then even the brother that she is dating says like, oh yeah, everyone likes him. I don't, yeah, it's a thing. So yeah, I think that was, put there for a reason, and we'll, watch that seed continue to bloom as the episode goes, I mean as the show goes on.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, have you seen him? Of course she was into him. Have you seen him? I mean, he cut off Medusa's head. How could you not be in love with that, you know? I don't know, his thing.
Yeah.
But I think that was more like a yeah, I think that was more so letting us know that he is like that's him. Run of him. And
Yeah.
your girl is gonna choose. Like that's just what's gonna happen. And she
She
either gonna be
chose me.
solid, right? She's either gonna be solid or she's not. But if Run is with it, then your
Yeah.
girl might, that might just be what it is. But he's in construction, yes.
Yes. Which
And
which
Brenda,
which I just gotta say, every time, like it doesn't matter if it's a movie or TV show, every time someone says, oh, I'm in construction, I'm like, you're up to no good.
you're a drug dealer. Yeah, you can blame the Goodfellas for that. That's the first thing
Yeah,
every single time. You
I'm in
are a drug
construction.
dealer. You're absolutely not even a mobster. It's drug. Like my brain goes to
Yeah.
drug dealer immediately.
Yeah.
But he's in construction, and Brenda's telling him, "Hey, the market's like
Mm.
declining in that area, so you may want to figure something out." And I think again, that's where that resentment came in because it was almost like, "Who are you to tell me my business?" But I think deep down he knows she's right.
I'm like, goddamn, you right.
Damn it, you weren't supposed to say it, but you're right. But now he's got to dig his heels in because he's got to prove him
Yeah.
wrong, even though he
Yeah.
won't be able to because you can't will the economy to do what you wanted to do. If that was
Yeah,
the case,
like
we'd all be rich.
how dare you take the advice of a woman? So yeah, he definitely has to dig his heels in.
Yeah, and then I noticed that he got a little shady after that too because no, that wasn't him. It was the other one that said dad told him marry the woman that's something that'll be there for you in the end or something like that. Don't marry pretty. It was something very, very awful
Mhm.
with the advice that his dad gave him. And what he told him was kind of like, in the end, you marry the woman that's gonna be like pretty much the straight LDS woman that you want. And the other brother, Ron, kind of went into the same thing. He's like, oh, I think it was Ron. It was like, if she wants a family and all of these things, why is she going to BYU? And if it wasn't him, I'm sorry, because again, it's a bunch of
Mm.
brothers. And it may
It's
have been the
too
other
many of
one.
them Laffertys. Yeah.
Because that's the one that seems to be the most against her.
Hmm.
The one, what's the other one that's in custody? What's his name? Is
Alan.
that Alan's the husband?
No. Alan's the husband. So the one who's in custody is I can't. I don't think I can find his name.
It's sorry, y'all. It's sometimes you just really, if you can have that many children, good for
Unknown
you.
Lafferty brother. Yeah.
Lafferty brother, but him, because Dan is Wyatt Russell,
Right.
and the other one, Ron is of course Sam Worthington, or
And
Clash of
then
the
and then
Titans.
yeah, Samuel Lafferty is the other Culkin brother.
It's just so
So yeah,
there's a Jacob.
there's an Ammon Lafferty who may be
I think
the
that's
one in
him.
custody.
I think that's him. No, Ammon is the dad.
Ammon is dad. There's an
Yeah,
Ammon Jr. or something. Oh,
maybe. Maybe it's just
Ammon is
it's
the
so
dad. My
many.
apologies.
There
It's
are
so many.
There are a bunch of
Why do you have
Laffertys.
so many brothers? Like why?
Alan,
Like
but we
what are
know
you trying
Alan
to
is
accomplish?
is the husband.
Yes.
Okay. We will know by the next time we do this. And by the way, we're not sure if we're going to do this like weekly or if we're just going to wait to the end and then do a full recap because I don't know. It's kind of hard to recap true stories. Kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
And may I add, FX on Hulu, please forgive me, but they don't have a really good track record of keeping us invested.
Who knows? They might just cancel they might cancel the show right now. Who
Remember, like
knows?
y'all know what happens. Y'all don't need the rest of
Yeah. Like go read the book. Go
Read the
check out the
book.
book.
The man wrote it. Read it.
Yeah.
But Andrew, I think, is going to carry it. He's doing a great job
Mhm.
carrying it, so I think he'll be fine. Daisy's doing a good job, even though we don't get to see, I guess, as much of her as we do, but we kind of do. Like we see a lot of her. At
Yeah,
least we
yeah, we
have
see
so
a good bit
far.
of her, yeah.
So yeah, I think when it comes down to it, I'm trying to stay away from the actual events because I don't know the story. I know I mean I know what happens. I know who murdered her, but I don't know the story. I don't know why they did it. I don't know what the whole thing was. So I'd like to watch it to see it unfold before I actually read the true story.
Mhm.
But this also kind of makes it sad because I'm like, wow, this really happened to somebody. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I wanted to ask you. So it kind of seems like there are two things happening. There's one which is the murder, and then there are these
Mhm.
bearded men who were trying to avoid paying taxes.
Mhm.
I'm assuming they are interlinked, and being
Have to
that
be.
this Lafferty brother has the beard,
Mhm.
because Andrew's honestly already putting it together. He already asked him. He's like, "Are you sure that your brothers weren't one of these people?"
Right.
And he's just like, "Well, am I certain? No, like of course not. Well, no, I'm not certain."
Yeah,
But
and
when
I think
he
that's where
got
we
there,
oh, go ahead.
and I was
Continue.
just gonna say, when he got there, that's immediately what he said. Where are my
Yeah.
brothers? Like,
Yeah, and I think that's what we were getting at with that thing that it kind of touched on in the first episode, but really didn't. Like this is rightfully our land, and they want to make us. So yeah, yeah, I think that's what we are getting at.
I think we're gonna get there very quickly.
Yeah, I
This
mean
is
we have to. There's
only
only 6 episodes.
6,
Yeah,
yeah. So they better move it fast. I think it's gonna be worth the episodes. I'm invested. I like the way that they're telling a story. We really enjoyed some of True Detective.
yeah,
Some of
that's
it. Um,
some of it.
and it's giving me those vibes, especially being that there are two very different detectives. There's
Mhm.
Andrew's character, and then there's the other character. Is he Native American?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gil Birmingham. Yeah,
yeah, and there are different ways of approaching the crime itself and how, because I don't think he didn't tell her dad. Like he didn't call her dad until he wasn't going to call her dad,
he wasn't
right?
going to. He was like, we want to make sure that we have all the questions. I mean, all the answers to his questions. But at the same time, you're not going to find those answers immediately, and you kind of need to notify the next of kin.
That's the thing, right?
I'm
Okay.
no detective though. Yeah.
Here's the thing. If somebody is missing, then I can understand if you don't tell me because we need to know what could have possibly happened, who we're looking
Mhm.
for, have they sent out the Amber Alert, blah, 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 blah. But death is final, right?
Mhm.
So even though we may not know who did this situation, who was there, what suspects what are there, what we do know is that this person is deceased, and that is a fact, and that's what that is. You can tell them that. Like, of course, they'll have questions, and you tell them, we don't have any
They say
suspects, we
we're
don't
looking
have
for the
this.
answers. Yeah.
But in case you want to come, or in case you know something, you may want to say it, you know?
Yeah, because at the same time, I mean, do you want to say you would want to ask the father, does she have any enemies out there that we need to know about? Like, is there
Or you,
anything? Did she say she was in any trouble? Because yeah, if you're, I mean, and he doesn't want to, but if you're gonna identify the husband as a suspect, then you need an outside source to kind of like gather some information and to go through those. But once again, I'm no detective, so
Right? Or this was a very gruesome crime. This was a murder. You may be in danger. Like I don't know if this is like
yeah.
a vendetta or if they got who they, but you may want to, keep your head on a swivel because this may affect you because it does. This is your child. So I don't know. I don't get any of it. Of the whole, I don't know what Andrew's doing, but I think that's again just showing us how this town operates kind of within itself,
Mm.
and they have their procedures and rules and whatever else. So
All right, so D's will close it out. Let's make the call now. Are we going to continue with this show? Are we in or are we out?
we are in. We're in.
Yeah, yeah,
We're
yeah.
in.
Yeah. To sum it up, it was a bit of a slow burn at first, but once it starts to unfold itself, you're like, I see what you're doing now. So I see enough to want to see it through. I really like I said, I really like the basically aligning the history of this religion to like what's happening in like the current day of this show. And I think as that unfolds, we're going to see like why these people felt like they were justified to do what they do, because obviously they felt justified. So yeah, I do think there's enough here to continue. So we I think we could squeeze like four more recaps out of this. So yeah, just stay tuned. And also just thanks for watching. If you are still catching the Severance recaps, thanks for watching that. But yeah, let us know what you're watching outside of this show as well. But D, any closing thoughts?
No, if you want to give us any tips that would help, keep in mind we're trying to kind of watch this unfold without getting too much information from the actual story. So if there's something I missed from the episodes, let me know. But if it's something I missed because you already know the story, don't tell
Right.
me. So,
Exactly.
don't tell me. I want to
Yeah,
hear.
because I too am dodging the actual story. I'll probably go back and like read the book after this because obviously it was adapted for TV and a lot is different. But yeah, I am currently dodging the like anything that happened with the real life events.
Yep. But that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you have any critiques or comments, we're with them. We got thick skin. We'll take it. Anything to make us better, we appreciate it. Thanks for
Well,
watching.
I am already as good as I am ever going to be. So no critique for me. I'm joking. But seriously, thanks for watching and thanks for listening. Until next time, peace.
Peace.